Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I am so excited to have on a 31 and 59-year-olds from Jackson Hole, Wyoming and Minnetonka, Minnesota, USA. Their hockey journeys has taken them to the USA, Hungary, Germany, Wales, and Denmark. One of them returns to the shed for about the 100th time and is a legend of the shed as he started a worldwide chocolate throwing craze, also started the term shed boost and legs and eggs. The year we met way back in episode 82, he was in the old honey hole, Cardiff, Wales, and had the best save percentage in the league, shed boost, 937, and became a playoff champion and punted his bucket into the rafters, and was named an EIHL second team all-star, like yours truly. The next season, he ran a muck of Denmark and was showered in Twix because he earned them. The other makes his shed debut and is the general manager of the powerhouse Jackson Hole Moose that were founded back in 97 and have been running amok ever since. They won her all in 2016-17 and have been packing the barn and entertaining the town. He raised a winner and an ultimate shed guy and actually packed up the family and moved across the country to help the young fella chase his dreams. Welcome to my back deck, Bob and Mac Carruth.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well,
The
Mac,
back deck, I like it.
yeah, well, internet's been shaky out there, It's tough. I want to be in the shed. My attitude's right, but booster ain't working. And I got the kids here today too. So got to be near the house, right? But
what are they having for lunch?
Huh? Who said
what? Are they having for lunch?
I just whipped up a grilled cheese, apples, Perfect. Carrots. Yeah. Got Good. It done so I could get chatting, right?
Right.
And welcome. So do you go by Howie or Bob?
Oh, whatever. You'll meet both of them today.
Yeah.
All three egos.
Mac has actually mentioned that you might be a bit of a competitor as well. Do you get a little fired up when the Moose aren't playing well?
Yeah, I tend to. I've softened a bit in my old age, maybe, but really? The bottom line is that we like you said, we're entertainers basically, and we give our town something to root for, and that's the main thing. But yeah, I do enjoy winning. A lot more fun,
isn't it? It's like the opposite of losing.
Yeah. Exactly. And we don't do that too often, which is great.
So research team got hot and creepy there and checked out the website. So you guys won her all in 2016-17?
Yeah. We've kind of gone back and forth with our rival Sun Valley. And right now we're on a bit of a hiatus between the two teams. We're not playing each other. So that's kind of our championship. It's the league's called the Black Diamond Hockey League after Black Diamond runs on a ski hill.
Makes sense.
So that's mainly Bozeman, us, and Sun Valley, and then McCall, Idaho. Perhaps we could join the league, and or Park City. So we haven't had a championship since 2019 because of COVID and the rest of it. Then we had a game occur in Sun Valley, which some bad blood. Let's put it that way. And we have not played since.
So the league doesn't like set up the regular season where you play every team. Like you guys have gotten that much, you just don't play each other.
Well, we still play Bozeman, we still play Park City, we still play And,
So what went on in this game? I'm curious.
Actually, when Mac, so the Curry brothers from. Anyway, one of our good players interrupted one of their players going to the net. I'll say interrupted. There was no penalty, no shenanigans after the whistle. And this young man, very good hockey player for their team, ended up puncturing a lung and shattering his collarbone. But he did not wear shoulder pads at the time. And then anyway, we tried to remedy it. They were supposed to come back to our place, and they refused to come to play us. And the rest is kind of history right now. We're trying to mend those fences, though. They're a very, very good club as well.
Sun Valley, that's where Cody Lample's from. Am I right?
Correct. Yep. I think he's played a couple games for the Suns, maybe. He
used to play there. If he was suspended from the East Coast League for whatever reason, like penalty or something, he would go play in Sun Valley. on the weekends, but he never played Saturday. He only played Friday, so he got kicked out on the Friday game and never played Saturday.
Some of the pictures Mac sent, I had already sent them off to the poster maker guy, but he sent some action shots of the moose, and it looks like the fellas enjoy mucking it up.
They do. Yep. Yeah. We again it ebbs and flows, right, with the type of talent we have, because again, we don't pay our players, and they do it for the love of the game. But we have some talented players. We have some guys that love to mix it up a little bit too.
Right.
Again,
and
we're entertainers, Wally. We're entertainers, baby.
well, it seemed like everybody was entertained. The one pick of the goalie fight, it's funny because people talk about how fighting should be gone in hockey. If you look at those pictures, take a look at the teammates behind them when the goalies are fighting. Every single guy has the biggest smile on his face, just enjoying the show, right? Guys love fighting. It's fun.
Unless you're on the bad end of it. We got a couple of guys, some of Mac's friends on the team now. It's kind of weird when I start coaching kids that are, younger than Mac or whatever. Yeah. It's just a different deal, and but it's there's some guys that I would not mess with, let's put it that way.
Well, you see, the fans, like, people like watching fights. It's entertaining, and if you're into entertaining, then that's
yeah. And to say, I don't want to make it seem like we're goons, but we probably have a fisticuff once every 3 or 4 games, not like every night,
Right. Well, and I know what it's about. When I got back after doctors told me I could never play hockey again, and I shouldn't, and I would never be cleared to play professional anymore, I did get coerced into playing senior A hockey here voluntarily for free. And we got into a couple playoff runs, went to the finals, and it was as hockey gets. There was fighting, there was hitting. People were trying just as hard, not making any money,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fun game. Like you said, it's fun to win, right? And what's the alternative? Losing. So you might as well go for it.
I actually nearly died trying. I went septic in the finals after game 4, and had to miss game 5 when we got put out. And then I went to work with an IV in my arm for 16 days.
My God.
Yeah, just give it up, Walton. It's over. So I get into how we know each other. You're making some nice clothes out there in Jackson Hole. What a jacket. My wife stole this from me. I had to ask for it back for today.
I got to send some more stuff to you. I got some jerseys I want to send your kids so they can play on the pond with those, and it'd be awesome. Yeah. Hey, so it's a great logo.
We'll fly your flag anywhere because I'm a big Moose fan, and yeah, it is a sweet logo.
It's very popular in town for sure. And
did you come up with the logo? How'd you come up with this? It's a moose with like a goalie mask, right?
Yeah. Well, it happened in 1994, actually, before we even had the moose. So I was running the rink here. We had a junior team at the time called the Grizzlies, and they went under, and that's when the moose came in. But we made this logo, my wife did, for a tournament shirt that was in our pro shop at the time. So she made this in 1994. Obviously, it's a play off the Anaheim Duck, right. Except it's a moose. But and then those things sold out, and then when our junior team folded, we had the logo already. It was perfect. And the Jacksonville Moose, obviously, we have a ton of moose running around here, so it was that's how it came to be. So my wife is responsible for that.
It's well done.
Right? Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, it's a pretty iconic. I people tell me they love the Blackhawk logo and then the moose logo. So it's pretty cool.
It is cool. And seeing your own brand and something you made do something, it's like I had on the new Manchester player. And after we talked about the jerseys, I had Manchester fans writing to me saying, how can I buy a jersey? And we sold a whole bunch more. So there's going to be, I think, like 10 more 2Ls and Hockey Tales jerseys are going to be hitting the barns in the UK this year. And I tell you, it can get you pretty hot and bothered when you see people in your jersey,
Oh, I'm sure it's like it being a player and having, 50 people in the stands having your name on the back of their jersey. It's got to be pretty cool too, right?
Yeah, nobody really ever had my jerseys. Joey Martin, what a punk.
Yeah.
So Mac, you're back in Denmark, eh?
Back in Denmark, yeah. Just finally getting settled into the new spot here, so it's
you got a new apartment.
It's been good though. What's that?
New apartment.
Yeah, the team like they bought a new house at the end of last year, and like we're renovating it throughout the summer. I think they just must have ran into some problems, so it just kind of got done this week, and we just kind of finally furnished it. Yesterday I built some outdoor furniture, so outdoor backyard's looking good now. So finally can kind of settle in and
Is Herning starting to feel like home? Did you feel like you were going home when you got back
oh
there?
yeah, for sure. And then the wife's starting to do the nesting thing now that we're coming in on like
That's coming
8
in
to 9
hot,
more
isn't it?
weeks. So yeah, feel change of pace. The nursery's all set up and whatnot, so we're good there. We think we're ready, but obviously you're never ready. So
It's definitely something. It's going to be an experience
yeah,
for you.
yeah, I know it'll be good, but
Once you
super
have
excited for
them, you
that.
have them forever. You know that?
They always come back,
That's true.
Wally.
Yeah, you
They
can't get
always
rid of
come
them.
back.
Well, it's like I don't even know what I did before kids because everything I do now is for them, doing stuff with
Yeah.
them. And by the way, tonight, baseball squad, father son game. I'm going to kick the shit out of those little punks. I haven't played baseball in a while. Me and my buddies used to play pitcher, batter, catcher once a year in the summer. We'd make a mound in the backyard, like legit mound. We had a backstop that the carpenter made out of chicken wire, and we'd have like 20 something buddies show up, and we'd have a tournament in the backyard with like a tennis ball and wooden bat, and it was 2-on-2 baseball. I haven't played since, but I tell you, ran amok back in those days.
Some of those backyard games can be
Watch
the
that
best.
low back pulling balls at the right hand fielder.
I plan on hitting it over the fence so I can jog. So, did you guys ever play any father son games?
Uh,
Think the last time we were on the ice together, we had a discussion afterwards saying we'd never go on the ice together again. So
Did it get competitive?
a little bit competitive, yeah.
yeah.
um this past hockey season, the little punks, we were having a father son game and they thought they were actually going to beat us at hockey. It was hilarious. They went in there talking all this trash and then they went out like they had just been whipped.
Good.
Yeah.
Humbled them a little bit. I
Oh
like
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
That,
well,
that that would be the opposite in Jackson because not many of our parents have a hockey background like you guys do up in Canada. So I think
right.
the young men and women would kick the crap out of the
Parents. So
parents.
then I didn't know where you're from. You're from Minnesota. I was curious how hockey would have got to Jackson Hole. But if you're from Minnesota, that's a hockey area. And then how do you get to Jackson Hole? What happened? You can't hear me?
I don't know. We good now?
You're good now.
Okay.
I was just at you're from Minnesota. How did
Yeah.
you get hockey going in Jackson Hole? How'd you end up in Jackson Hole?
Just after I graduated from college, just needed to. I always lived in the Midwest and never really been to the mountains that often, but skied a few times with some friends and stuff. But just came out here and fell in love with the lifestyle, the mountain lifestyle and the skiing and the outdoor activities.
Mhm.
And then in about 1992, I was teaching school at a private school, and I was kind of looking to do something else. And then a group of people got together and started raising money for an ice rink. And so, I had a little bit of background in that. I applied for the general manager job, and that's how it happened. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and
And
then
did you play growing up?
What's that?
Did you play growing up in Minnesota then?
Yeah. I played through high school, a little bit of college. I was more into soccer when I hit the collegiate level. But yeah, we had
Let me guess, you're a big stay-at-home D man.
For
Hockey.
No, I'm goalie.
You're a goalie too.
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Genes are a thing, they say.
Sometimes
Goalies are weirdos, though, eh?
At times we could be, yeah, but it's not.
I always found it interesting though when I look back at my career. I said this the other episode is my line mates and the goalie were always the ones that I spent the most time with and tried to make the happiest,
Yeah, kind of weird too because I played 4 years of soccer where I went to college, and I played a year and a half, 2 of hockey as a backup to the backup goalie, and collegiately. But all my friends from school are hockey players. I didn't hang out with the soccer guys much at all. So there's something to be said about the hockey.
I understand. I played soccer growing up and I didn't really hang out with the soccer kids either.
Uh,
All my buddies were the baseball guys, and my son has really taken a shine to this baseball thing, and it makes sense because he's on a team. They work together. They just hang out and eat sunflower seeds and shoot the shit and have fun, and then they're on a team, and it's I really enjoyed the baseball thing, but yeah, now the kids want to do the rep thing next year, and it's like, geez, this was my off season. Now I get no off season.
well, it only lasts for a little bit, Wally.
I know. And I
You know,
actually enjoy it. I'm about as relaxed as I get sitting in a chair watching some 10-year-olds play ball,
yeah, that's about as good as it gets there. Yeah. Well, Mac played ball growing up too, and he has done some pretty successful teams, and it was fun doing that. But I think uh, he's kind of switched over to what is it, Mac? Were you about 13 when he switched or 14?
When I think it was when I went from the fastest kid on the team one summer, and then by the end of the year I was the slowest because my growth spurt wasn't very balanced, let's say.
That's right. You were slow. Holy cow, man. Yeah.
Well, goalies don't need to be runners, you know?
No.
Well, that's just it. You couldn't see it when he was playing goalie. You couldn't see his growth spurt because it's a different, obviously different athletic movement. But in baseball, man, it was painful to watch him run from the batter's box to first. It was like, oh my god. I remember, who is this giraffe? Of course, I
Oh,
blame my wife for that, right? Because I was never uncoordinated.
but you're right though. It all does happen really fast, and it's like I enjoy watching these sports for the kids as like that is my favorite thing to do. And it's amazing how fast it all goes to see Colby's buddies now. They're like big. They're like as big as me now.
Yeah, no, it's a fun little trip you're on though, because it doesn't last because like
Yeah.
the time Mac was 16, he was playing junior and on the other side of the country from us, and then he went and played in Portland, it's a Western Hockey League, and then he did a little bit of stuff in Rockford and whatnot. But we haven't seen. I bet you the time he's 16 to now, what do you know, Mac? 31,
Yep.
and I bet you we've seen him play live way less than 30 times.
It's
Way less than.
it's kind of
Yeah,
like
most of that was probably the Mem Cup.
well, it's
Yeah, the
like
most.
an
Yeah,
unsettling feeling when you say stuff like that because I can see all this happening and in my future, and like my kid can play, and that's not me being a crazy dad. That's me being really realistic. I'm in one here, and I gotta cherish the days I get with them because it's
yep.
not gonna be that long until um
Out
he's
the
gone.
door.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it's about a 6 year window there where they go from being cute little kids playing to they're into it and then they're gone. You know, so
Anywho, yeah, it's all busy times with kids and work and everything, and you gotta get to those sporting events because you're only gonna get to see so many of them, right? And that's what I love about the shed, though, is bringing people together. It's like you guys are getting to spend some time here together, right? And when you go overseas and you get into your season, you know, you kind of just don't talk that much, right? You get right into what you're doing and you'll be into what you're doing in the moose. And yeah, time flies.
it does. Yeah, and unfortunately, because of my coaching commitments this winter, when little baby Carruth comes around, I'm not going to be able to get there until probably late spring. So
Well,
yeah.
as long as you can get there when you can get there, right?
Right, exactly. I think my wife Jean will be out there to help out though eventually. So
So you are a coach, you're coaching high school this year, right?
yep. First year doing this in this community anyway. Yeah.
What's your favorite drill as a coach? I like to I like to learn from other coaches
Well,
now that I'm an aspiring
I'm a big
coach.
well here. It's all a lot of it's skill development stuff because our kids. This is not I wouldn't say remedial, but it's a recreational league for sure. But we have some pretty talented kids. I like the small area game stuff. I know it's kind of a catchphrase. I don't really like the term, but I like moving those nets up to close to the blue line and having the kids transition type stuff and compete because
Competing that,
you can
yeah.
always anybody can go around a pylon, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's what I see a lot of our kids take private lessons here from some of my moose players, and they're skill guys. They are very good. It's some very good guys that do that. But I'm more like the compete guy. Like you
Mhm.
you come take a private lesson from me, you're going to get banged up. you know.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about, right? I actually went to a tryout with kids. And they skated around pylons and shot it on the net like the whole tryout. And I left there thinking, how could you determine who could win at hockey? Because nobody competed, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm a big compete guy, and like I said, and I like working on power play and PK. As an old goalie, you see all that stuff develop, and so it's kind of it's not easy to teach, but it's fun to teach for sure.
Well, I've had three. I'm gonna have three very different years so far. I did under 11 with the boys, and that there I could teach them how to be a team and all that, and how to compete and work for each other. But like, I couldn't really get too far into the system stuff. Then I went to under 9 house league gals, which was a riot. But now I'm getting into under 13 boys next year, and I'm gonna have a lot more stuff I can be able to teach them. And now they're gonna have to be ready to learn this stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean, like just little things too, like you said, teaching them to be teammates and stuff like that's so important. Like, so we had like a captain's practice, which I was kind of running for our high school team this summer, and when we had ice in, and I go in the locker room and I notice that all the young guys are in one locker room. Our locker rooms are pretty small, so we have to use because of that we had to use two locker rooms anyway, and all the cool guys were in the other one. So I quickly put a stop to that. I made rosters up, emailed all the parents and kids, and said, "Hey, you're on this team, and you're in this locker room. You're on this team, you're in this locker room." So I think that's kind of stuff that people you don't see it on the ice, but it relates to the ice. Getting these kids to buy in.
Well,
And not.
yeah, that's what I love about it is I coached the boys not last season, the season before, and I'm telling you, those kids that were on that team, we won some stuff, and like they're brothers for life. They see each other, and they just can't wait to see each other. And when they're planning play dates, it's always with their hockey buddies from that team. They don't even all go to the same schools, but they're friends for life, right?
Yeah.
And it's cool seeing that. That's what I love about coaching is seeing that shit happen, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's really rewarding, And like we had this parent meeting last night, or this big barbecue at our house last night, and they had about 60 some odd people here. And
That's how you win. You gotta do those things.
It's helpful, and then to sit down and really talk to some of these parents for the first time, really in my, ever, and just saying, yeah, it's going to be, we're gonna have the season is going to go from October all the way through hopefully April, and if we win, and my mantra is 3 wins in a row in March. That wins us a state championship, and that puts us into a national tournament. And we're gonna have some bumps along the way, but we're gonna 3 wins in a row. That's all we got to do. Right. Sounds like.
Well, it starts by having all the families together and breaking bread, I think they call it. But like, you got to make it a hockey family. I think that's how you win. Is you got to get everybody involved. Not just the players.
No,
it's like the Herning Blue Foxes. Now that they shared when I posted about the Twix throwing, Mac takes everybody to win.
They're big fans of you. I know that.
I'm a big fan of them. I wrote to them after that when I said, I'm glad you're over game 7 with me at the trophy. And I just wrote like this laughing face. And I said, don't worry, you're my team now, because they are. Go Blue Foxes,
I'm a big Blue Fox fan though.
Me too. And that video, I just love seeing it when all those Twix hit the ice, and you can see how much fun people are having at the arena, chucking chocolate on the ice. And they got a fantastic wind song that's playing in the background. Unbelievable. And you can see everybody's smiles on their faces, and they're entertained, right?
Yeah, we added a big entertainment piece. I think it got installed today. We got a 3D thing on the 3D projector on the ice for the fans for when we come out. So they were working on that today, so that should be interesting for tomorrow. See how that goes. But
you guys also signed up a shed guy. Cam Brown is on your team.
He's a dude. Yeah, he's a good guy.
He really is.
Sits next to me in the locker room too. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, and I had him on way back when friends of mine, there had been a car accident and I was raising money, and he came on to help bring awareness, and we ran a muck and made a bunch of money. And then like shed guys know shed guys. And then we talk about all that. And then like some of his buddies bought tickets to the raffle. I didn't even know them. And, good people know good people. He's a good dude.
He is a good dude. He played in that three ice thing and he won it last year, I think.
Yeah, I saw
Um,
that too. Yeah, I haven't even had
yeah,
him back on since he won that thing.
yeah, and then Register won it this year.
Big Reggie, the horse.
Big cash register won it. Yeah,
I,
so
I find that interesting that those guys sign up to do that because I really liked having an off season.
I think Cam said it's like unbelievable. Like
Well,
you should have him
they're
on and
going to
ask him
big,
about it. He says
yeah.
like they fly
They're
you
going
in,
to
you
cool
play.
cities. You're playing hockey in front of
Yeah,
fans. You're on TV. It looks fun.
yeah. He said like I don't want to like throw him under the bus here. Like the only downside is like there's not a lot of fans. So like if they played in some smaller buildings, it might be like more atmosphere.
Yeah,
Because they play in like big
big
AHL
arenas,
buildings.
and there's not
Yeah,
enough
Well,
people.
it's probably
and
made for TV, right? That's
yeah, it's made for TV exactly. So to have it in a smaller building maybe wouldn't work, but he said like it's the way they get treated really well. It's I know it's only in the second year, right? So it's a bit sloppy, but he said it was a good time and like kind of rattled he missed out on the big cash paycheck this year, but I think
So
they split like 100,000 or something between the team or something like that.
for winning, really,
Yeah, for winning the last thing. But then
Jesus.
like every weekend you can get a chunk of money too.
Well, that register, like, because I'd never forget who's on my team. And that guy, just like yourself, came on to meet my under 11 fellows way back when I think episode 145. And I don't forget when people do stuff like that for me, but that guy ran a muck again last year in Idaho. He was
Yeah.
like, I saw his plus minus. It was outrageous. It was like plus 50 or something.
Yeah, he's like one of the
nice.
best. His according to him, he's a first ballot East Coast Hall of Famer as soon as he retires.
Well, he is. Have you seen
Yeah.
his stats? They're ridiculous.
I think he's won like three times or something like that already. Yeah.
And he wins defenseman of the year like 3 times.
Yeah.
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 And that Boise, Idaho. So how far away is that from you guys? Because that's a spot. That's the only time I really went out that direction.
What's
Five and a
that?
half hours. Five
Four,
and a half.
five? Yeah.
That place is sweet too. That's what I'm picturing of
They have a
going.
pretty good setup there. They have those. You probably didn't notice this, but there's a hotel attached to the rink, and like your balcony can be rink, like a club seat.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Kind of like the Blue Jays when they have the hotel that looks out at the field. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, yeah. No, it's a pretty neat setup. And Boise is a great town. Obviously, it's grown a ton since COVID. So
Well, they
yeah,
beat us. It's like the opposite of winning.
yeah. Who are you playing for, Wally?
The Daytona Beach Bombers of Ohio,
Oh, yeah.
Dayton,
Wow.
Ohio. They
Dayton,
went
Ohio.
they went tits up the next year. Yeah, we didn't even like have good sticks. Guys were playing with broken sticks in the finals of the East Coast. We were a ragtag bunch that really went on a run. It was pretty special. But
Owners just rattled. He has to rent the bus another week.
they were trying to figure they were like not even that thrilled we made the finals because they didn't know how to get us to Boise because they had no money.
Didn't that occur, Mac, when you were playing in Hungary? Like they were kind of you went on a run there and you guys made playoffs or something. Weren't
Oh
they kind of
yeah,
like
with the ice bath.
yeah?
Yeah, I had to make a bet with the GM in order for us to get an ice bath in Hungary because I was like a big ice bath guy before I came over,
Big
and
ice bath guy. Goalies
they're
are
putting
weird.
in like it was like the greasiest like horse trough I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen some greasy horse troughs in Wyoming, but like it was like they put the ice shavings from the Zamboni in there, so it was this like mucky white yellow like piss colored spit and chew spit in the ice that you're sitting in. So I'm like, hey, like, can you get us a normal ice bath and like an ice machine if we win seven in a row? And they hadn't won seven in a row in like ever. And then we win seven in a row. It takes them 4 months to get us an ice bath and an ice machine, like just sandbagging me. So
Pro hockey isn't what it's cracked up to be all the time, I had a guy reach out to me about his squad last year, still owing him a month's pay, and that was a bit unsettling to hear because you don't like hearing things like that, and it's a small world, and guys talk, and yeah, tough bounce. Pay your players, folks. Shut'll hold you
yeah,
accountable. But anyways, another guy that we both know, your new teammate Martin Eskelson, Esky.
yeah,
He's got a gold helmet somewhere.
yeah, probably. Yeah, he's
We,
been in Saunders for a while, right?
we won it together. He was on my squad.
Yeah. He
Hmm.
was there last year. I know that.
So when Herning shared the video of all the Twix hitting the ice there, it was hilarious to see all the people that were seeing it. I saw Eskelson saw it, Oliver Bjorkstrand, and Thomas Spelling, my old line mate from Sunderjyski. Go Herning, right?
Yeah,
Who's
no, he's
is
a good
Spelling back in
addition for us for
Aalborg
sure.
then?
Sorry?
Is Spelling back in Aalborg again? Probably.
He might even be out of the league. Honestly, he might be. Maybe he went to the ice league. I would assume he's back in Alberg if he is in the league. But
Yeah.
yeah, Marty's a good addition for us for sure.
He's a big
We could
body,
like,
eh? He was just a puppy when I played with him. He's
yeah,
got to
he'd
be like a full
be
grown up now.
yeah, real. He's got a baby girl,
That's weird to think.
Lily, I think her name is.
He was like the
So
teenager on the team when I played with him.
yeah, no, he's
God, I'm old.
he's a good like PK guy, good two-way. I don't know if he's playing center on his line or not, but good two-way forward for us right now. So we'll
So have
see
you guys
what
played a preseason game already?
we're playing our third tomorrow.
Really? Did they throw
Yeah, we
Twix on the
lost.
ice in preseason?
I don't know. First home game tomorrow though, so we'll see there. A couple of the guys were like, we won in Frederikshavn. They're like, what the heck? There's no Twix. Like we had like four fans go all the way up there. It's like a 4 hour drive, and they're like looking at me after the game, like no Twix. Like, it's kind of garbage. I was like, no, wait for the season here.
Yeah,
But
preseason's just preseason. It doesn't even matter.
yeah, we were up 2-0 in Hurlev, and then went up 3-2, or I think we're up 3-1 and then 3-2. Um, Going into the third, and then we took some penalties and lost 4-3 with like 7 seconds left, and like you said, like preseason doesn't matter. But then like after the game, I was like, it's like I
Right.
lost.
Yeah.
It's like I lost game six again against Aalborg, just like furious. But
Yeah, I know. Losing sucks even in preseason. I
yeah,
know.
it's so easy for guys to say like, oh, it's just preseason, and it just like kind of pisses me off even more a little bit sometimes. But
I got it written down here though. You're gonna have an interesting season, I'd say. You got on your squad a Latvian, a Finn, Swede, Canadian, and Americans. Really
two
international
Latvians, yeah,
squad, eh?
yeah, we got. We're not gonna have any problem scoring goals. I don't think we got some studs. Like I don't think I've been scored on this much in practice in a long time.
Do you get fired up still in practice when guys are scoring?
Oh yeah, I don't want to get scored on for sure.
Yeah, that's very international. It's always interesting with these teams and the culture and the rooms because every locker room's different and you got a lot of different backgrounds.
Yeah, for sure. I think I don't know. It helps that most of our nucleus from last year is here. We lost a couple guys. A couple guys retired, and then lost a good locker room guy and good player, Tommy Anderson, to Alberg. But other than that, it's like pretty much the same group of guys, and then just added a couple
Well,
key pieces up front, and then
you guys
a
weren't
huge
far
Latvian
off,
guy.
right? You guys weren't far off winning it. You're
No, but
two
I
wins
think
away.
we turned a new leaf a little bit. This new coach, I don't think I've had a coach like this in Europe in a long like ever. Like we actually have a structure, we have a system, um, and he like holds guys accountable, which is kind of unheard of from what I've kind of seen in Europe. You know, like they'll tell
There,
you to do something, and if you don't want to do it, it's kind of whatever. But this
I,
guy,
you can
he's
definitely
holding
see
guys
that.
accountable.
You could definitely see that in Germany and what some of the older German fellows that like run this show and they sometimes you can see guys they were on my team and you can see guys that like just didn't care about defensive play, didn't care if they turned it over. They were going to go out there and do what they wanted and the coach was going to just let it happen.
No, it's really actually good to see. Like he cares whether we're doing things right. I think we're up 7-0 in Frederikshavn going into the third period, and he was like upset about our second period. Like came in the locker room like, hey, I know we're up 7-0, but like we took their foot off the gas that period. We want to play a certain way, blah blah blah. So that was good to see for me, like at least he cares about playing the right way. It's not always about the result, right? He cares about how we're playing.
Yeah.
And so that way at the end of the year, when we are in game 6 or game 5 or 7 in the finals,
Are
we're
you
playing
gonna
the
let
right
Are you
way.
gonna let your backup get in any matches this year?
Valley, yeah, I love that kid. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, new with a newborn on the way, I'm sure he'll get one or two there, but
Yeah.
if I have my way, no. But I'm sure they want to get him in a few games. I'm excited to watch him play. Honestly, I think he's super underrated.
How old
And
is he? Just a
hasn't
young
really
buck?
gotten a chance. What's that?
Just a young buck then?
Yeah, he's 18, but he's so fun to watch. Like in practice on the other side of the ice, like when I'm not getting shot on the same time, like he's always in position. I think for non-goalie guys, he looks like a bit like lethargic at times, but if you watch his brother play in the NHL, like sometimes it's the same thing. Like they're just so big and so in position, it just looks easy for him, right? So um, I watched him play in one preseason game last year for us, and he was very good. We got beat by Saunders, but he was the reason we were in the game. So I'm excited to watch him play for sure and how he develops this year. So I hope he gets a few games in and gets some confidence going.
So Howie, Bob, whatever we're going with today. What all trips have you been overseas to see, Mac? Because I find when you're out of the game years later, the stuff you remember that sticks out are when people came over to visit you, the memories you made in Europe, traveling, doing stuff. Because if we didn't go over there and play hockey, it's like my parents would have never went overseas. I wouldn't have gone overseas with like been there with my parents, right?
Right. No, we've only been over twice, my wife and I, and we went to Hungary for about we went both times we went, and then we went over to Herning this past fall. So not a ton of travel. Remember though that COVID thing kind of happened.
Yeah.
So it was a couple of years there where it was kind of we
Yeah.
couldn't do much about it. But I don't think I wanted to go to Whitewater. Maybe not.
Beautiful Weisswasser.
Weisswasser, yeah. Didn't I?
Lausitzer Fuchse.
Yeah,
Yo,
but I
the
love
rink was the best
Herning.
part of town.
And where Mac played in Hungary was amazing. I love that. I like kind of the smaller towns he's played in, because I'm kind of a small town guy. I'm not a big city guy, so
I
it
totally
was.
understand.
But even like Copenhagen to me, it was very manageable. Like it was big city, but you could
Yeah,
get around.
Copenhagen's a nice spot. Yeah,
It's
it
great.
it doesn't feel too big. I know what you mean by that.
We rode our bikes probably places we shouldn't have. I don't know. We had a great. Every time we go over there, we have a great time. We always try to plan it when he's got a couple games, and then he's got a break
Right.
because I mean, you don't want to get involved in, especially a goaltender. You don't want to get involved in their day to day, stuff. And so we always stayed in a hotel someplace and kind of whatever. But no, my wife is really looking forward to getting over there this fall to see the newborn and watch
Yeah.
Mac play games.
And that's all coming soon, eh? You're gonna be grandparents again. But I guess that's another way we know each other is way back when we had a raffle for your
Yeah,
other grandchild, right?
right.
And you
He
guys
was
just
right
did a
around.
pickleball tournament, eh? You guys are lucky I wasn't there because I would have dominated.
I don't know about that.
It was.
It was insane.
We got Mac. You got baggled, didn't you? By
Oh
you and
yeah,
Lucas.
we
Yeah,
were in the semifinals.
yeah. Got
We
beat
lost
11.
11-0.
11-0.
Yeah,
And he is a D1 tennis player, my
Ah,
sister's husband,
right. That's a
D1
problem.
tennis player, and we're playing against other
That
D1 tennis players.
that was your teammate was a D1 tennis player and you
yeah.
lost
You're
11.
you're
yeah, and they didn't even hit the ball to me. They just went after their buddy. Like he like brought him in for the tournament. And these guys are like borderline trying to go pro in pickle. And I'm not even touching the ball. Like they're not even hitting it to me. I was just standing there like a pylon. I've never been dominated like that in a athletic sporting event.
I understand what you mean
I
though.
don't think ever.
I totally know
Ever.
what you mean though, because well, my old man got right into squash back in the day, and I was like, this was at my prime of hockey, I'd say, right when I'm about leaving Western Michigan. It was in shape, and I thought I could go out there and be a better athlete and outwork him. and he was hitting the ball and I was the one running around and he just stood there and just smashed me. And I never played with him again. I hated it.
I think my racket or bat, whatever they call it, went into the parking lot next to the field or next to the court after the 11-0 loss. A tough bounce.
Yeah. So that team ended up winning it then?
They lost actually to two of his other buddies that are
Jeepers.
surprise, surprise D1 tennis players too.
So
that's kind of his. That's
they
kind of
did
his
raise some
fault for
money though,
bringing in
didn't
some ringers. What's
right?
that?
You guys did raise some money, it looked like, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think they got some donations afterwards from people around town, and then Duper is a company that like ranks players and like sets up tournaments around the world. They put on the tournament for them and stuff and donated some money that way. Then there was an NHF lady there, kind of networking and
National
helping.
Hemophilia Foundation, right?
Yes. Yeah, and she was out there kind of networking with Duper, and I think they're planning on doing some stuff together down the road, from what I've heard. So this is a good little day, and like obviously Teddy was there ripping around and having fun, and a good little awareness thing. But
Bob, did you get in on the action? Were you playing?
Yeah, we played. Who used to play hockey for the Moose. I was his coach, good friend of ours, Austin Chow. He's a big time photographer for the PGA, LPGA, and whatnot. And good athlete. He's from Vail, Colorado. And we thought I think we played 3 games, and I think we scored 6 points. Yeah, we got worked.
Yeah, the games go to 11.
But to be honest, I don't play a lot of pickleball. I probably play 4 or 5 times a year. So anyway, but we had fun. It was but we raised, I think, close to 15 grand, I think. I don't know. Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, no, I play in the neighborhood here. Neighbor has a tennis court, pretty nice setup, and he has whoever wants to come, middle-aged men that like to get dominated by me on Tuesday nights, and I go out there and just run amok. Just smash the old fellas,
Let's go back though, Wally, to your backyard baseball game.
Yeah, pitcher, batter, catcher.
Yeah, you should do that in that tennis court. That's a lot of fun. Put a piece of hockey tape on there for the strike zone on the chain link fence, and then you sit back there with a tennis ball or wiffle ball or whatever. That's what we used to do as kids. We'd go to my buddies at a tennis court. We'd play that
all day. Yeah,
yeah.
Competing is fun, they'd say. I'm looking forward to this hockey season starting up where I can build another team.
When do you guys start? When does the youth program start?
Right after Labor Day, it's go time. Yeah, and what's gonna really suck is I have to I'm gonna have to pick the best players, and that means some of them aren't gonna make it, and that is gonna suck. Yeah,
I got the same thing in my world too. I don't like cutting kids is no fun. As much as people think that coaches got to get off on that, it's the worst. It's
the worst. Well, especially when you've coached them and you've been the hockey, or you are a hockey family, and the parents, the kids, and then they really want to be on your team again, and it's like, well,
do you have a committee that helps you out, or are you it?
I'm gonna get a couple shed guys that will be running the tryouts and evaluating. Actually, Cam Brown's old line mate, Garrett Mears, will be doing it. Small world, but and then I'm a co-coach. Me and another guy are doing it together. Well, it's interesting though, right? Because when you've been coaching age groups for 5-6 years since they were little babies, little puppies out there, who's who, who listens, who wants it, who goes home and practices. I mean,
yeah,
so
right. Yeah, no, it's but it still doesn't make it any easier. I'll tell you that, because some of the kids were at my house last night. Great families, great kids, just not the best at hockey, unfortunately, and it was all kind of a kumbaya moment last night, but it's not going to be come October,
right.
And
right.
So what I'm trying to do is get another team. Do you guys, will you get another team to play against, from another community to help with your tryout, or?
They just want other people to evaluate, so it's not like a coach having a bias.
Because I always found, because when I was back in Minnesota coaching, at the high school level, we always found that, these kids have been playing together, like you said, since they've been in mites. And then, when we do a inter squad scrimmage, it is what it is. So then we bring other teams in from other communities. That's when you find out who's going to,
Well, and
compete.
yeah, like for the tryouts, I mean, I can do some flow drills, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to put them on two teams and see them get after it, right?
So yeah, see who wants it. Yeah, so I'm trying to bring a team for my tryout. I'm trying to bring a team in from a high school team from Sun Valley to come over and play us, and that way they're psyched to do it too. That way we can evaluate when they're actually really are competing.
Actually, yeah, my other co-coach has set up a home and away against Walkerton during exhibition season, so we'll be doing similar things. And yeah, I plan on winning all Ontario, and
Yeah.
everybody can come compete against us if they want. We're right here, right? So, did you not move the whole family across the country to let Mac chase his dream? Isn't this a thing? You guys moved to like Chicago?
No,
I
we
moved to
moved
Chicago.
we moved back to Minnetonka. So
Oh,
yeah. So my wife and I came out here in '86 ish and read for college, and then had our kids here and whatnot. So in 2002, we moved back to Minnesota. I got a new rink job in Minnetonka, and we moved back. And then Mac played. You're there for squirt or Pee Wee, Mac? I can't remember.
Yeah, fifth grade to
Fifth grade. You're squirt,
fifth
right?
grade to eighth
Anyway,
grade.
yeah. So here's this kid coming in from Jackson Hole, not known for its hockey at all, and then he kind of took the squirt hockey world as it was by storm,
yeah,
and
I could see that.
competed as that. And anyway, so then he played his squirt year, 2 Pee Wee years, and 1 year of Bantams, and then he went down to Chicago. At the time, I was helping out the high school team there in Minnetonka. We had some great teams. I was a goalie coach, but we had Jake Gardner, Justin Hall, and a couple, bunch of our guys went and played at, Minnesota and Penn State, and that kind of stuff. So we had some really good teams.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know where
Yeah,
Minnetonka is.
it's just west of Minneapolis. Yeah,
Okay.
nice community. Really, really, yeah, really nice
Yeah,
community.
Minnesota's got good people out there too, don't they? I always say shed guys are from certain pockets around the world. And Minnesota's got some dandies though, right?
Oh, yeah, oh for sure. Yeah, I mean we enjoyed. Then in 2011, we moved back here to and I got re-engaged with the hockey program here and also the rink. It needed some serious repairs, so we got involved here and we came back, and I'm very glad we came back to Jackson.
So you didn't get priced out of the real estate market while you're gone, because I don't think
We
shit's
got
cheap
so
around there. Eh?
we got so lucky with the place we're in right now. I mean, I pinched myself because it went from, it's still crazy money, but not it's something we
Not
can.
what it is now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like holy cow. Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
very
it's crazy. It's like but the place I got back when I was playing. Like I wouldn't be in this neighborhood if it was the prices they are now.
Oh, I know. It's housing situation's gotten. I mean, the good news for us is that because of how the market's changed here in Jackson, we can sell this and kind of retire.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Retiring
So
sounds fun. I would
yeah,
have had to be a lot better at hockey. But for your squad here, I always find that to win stuff, you need a good core. But this AJ Sanders fella, 226 games played for the Moose, 223 goals, and 624 points. Guess he's a bit of a staple of your squad, eh?
he's something else, and he's like we were talking about earlier before we got on the podcast. He's one of those guys that you do not want to get. It takes his fuse is pretty long,
He
but
mucks
wow,
it
I
up
mean,
too and
oh,
scores.
he and this kid from Bozeman, I don't know what it is, but anyway, he hit this kid. He cut him in three different places with his hands, not hitting the ice or anything like that. And they got in a fist fight. He hit him, got him across the eyebrow, got him in the chin, and then on the way down, got him in the back of the head, all for stitches. I mean, that is anger right there. That's not like two guys just like, oh, let's go.
Not
This is
just yeah, that it was
no,
he
but
was angry.
he's a great teammate, and and him and this Drew Akins can really entertain the folks. Yeah, and then I get then we get Jason Reese comes in every now and again out of Washington. He played in the Western Hockey League for a number of years, and he comes in, and it's fun to watch those guys. It really is.
Well, it looks like quite the spot. I know they're playing for free, but man, that locker room, like when Mac hosted the last episode after Batchy's testimonial, he was in your locker room. That's a spot, eh? When did you do all that?
We did that about 3 years after I got back. They were just sitting on, folding chairs, and it was an absolute mess. And then we decided, so first of all, when I came back, the team was kind of run by the inmates, and so the Jacksonville Moose were getting probably 600 people on a Friday night and probably 300 on a Saturday night. Okay, and we just changed that whole thing around, and we made it as pro as we could do it without paying the guys.
Right.
And
happy hockey players play better.
Yeah, they sure do. Anyway, and we the rink then kind of took over the team, and the rest, as I say, is history. And we just make it as pro as we can get. We got all the advertising in the rink as well. So the youth program, we help defer their cost by having a great senior A team. So they're paying, compared to what they pay in Minnesota, even is pretty cheap, for their ice time. So, but we got all the advertising, which helps us with the sticks and the Gitch like you have on right now. And
well, it is like pro, right? Like this is more comfortable than some of the shit the teams were giving me back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, I treat these guys well. So we are one of the things we do to make it fun for the guys is we go down to the waste management tournament down in Phoenix. I'm sure you've seen those pictures of the.
I think Max brought this up. You guys go down there and just have time,
it's the best. It's the best hockey trip ever. You go middle of winter here when we got feet of snow. You go down to on a hockey trip with no hockey bag, just a golf bag, and that I think the guys really appreciate that, and they not that they play for that, but I mean I think it's something that we can do for them because they lay on the line for us every weekend.
Well, and they're gonna want to lay it on the line, and they'll be willing to do more stuff if you take care of them like that, right? That's hockey.
That's the theory anyway. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I understand. Okay, poster picks. Still love that goalie fight pick. That was awesome. You guys should look again at the teammates behind them while they're fighting. Classic hockey.
Man, was that Robbie or is that Kraus?
Yeah, I asked Robbie to send a bunch of stuff because I didn't have anything on my new phone here, so he sent a bunch of stuff from this year over.
Okay.
And then I sent them just a link, or not just a few of them, but yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, great photo. So next poster pick looks like you guys are eating outside somewhere in Europe, eh? The four of you.
Yeah, I think it was Budapest. Their first time over. Yeah.
I find that's part of what I miss the most about living overseas was all the eating and drinking you can do outdoors.
Yeah, I guess my wife's favorite part about it over here.
Eating outside on those walking streets, it's just a whole different vibe. And it's like in Canada or the US, we have patios, but they always stick you out back of the building. And like it's kind of nice to be out front and watch people.
Some of the mountain towns are kind of figuring it out. Like Canmore, Alberta, they shut down their main street in the summer now and do like a walking street thing, which is cool. Jackson does it a little bit, but not nearly what they could. But I think some of these towns are like the people in the towns are visiting Europe and seeing how much money can be made and like so much better just walking.
It's so much. Those walking streets are that's living when you get a bunch of teammates and you sit outside after a hard practice and have lunch and you can have a coffee or back in the old days you might even have a beer or two. Game's changed.
It has.
Yeah. Players are the same.
Players are the same. They just got to be really in shape nowadays. Eh? So you got a new bucket though, eh? And you put my number on it. Thanks.
Yeah. I was kind of, I don't know, I was kind of like drawing a blank on what to do for the hell of it. And then just happened to be like walking out of the rink when the guy called. I'm like, why don't we just like put the retired numbers up there? There's only 4 of them. Like, shouldn't be too hard to do. And then do pretty much the exact opposite design as we did last year. And he said, perfect, sounds good. And then that was it.
Okay, so there's the 2 numbers on each side of the helmet then, because I saw 18.
Yeah.
Hey, and if Mom wants to get involved, I saw her back there. Hey, she's a shed gal. She can come say hi.
I got my 3-legged dog right here. Don't right here. Red Cup, come on.
Three-legged dog.
Yeah, three-legged dog. Wait, yeah.
He's always had three.
He's always, well, since we've had him. Yep, three legs.
Jeepers.
He gets around just fine. He's behaving himself right now. He's not jumping up on me. Anyway, but no, he's
So other poster picks. Mac, it was you and Kira at a golf course with mountains in the background. That was lovely.
Yeah, that's my in-laws' place. They are members at Stewart Creek in Alberta, Canmore, Alberta. And we kind of split our time between Calgary and Canmore and Jackson in the summer. I think that was from this year. If she's pregnant, yeah, then it's this year. And yeah, it's an unbelievable spot. Like they have courses on both sides of the highway, like on both sides of the valley there in Canmore, and just some cool
Pretty nice
photos.
spot, eh?
Yeah, I think we played with you, Dad, one year when we were out there for the wedding barbecue in Canada. The last 18 holes you'll ever play in your life.
You're pretty fortunate to have the off-season spots you have. I mean, that's Canmore, Jackson. I mean, it's pretty
no shit.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much Banff and Yellowstone, pretty much.
Yep.
That's ridiculous.
A little spendy in the summer, but
you're right.
Good spots to hang out.
Yeah, it would be pretty hard to probably get into the real estate game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just scratching the lotto tickets over here every day, just hoping.
And because I love taking shed guy and gal selfies so much, like the selfie of you with your parents. There's like a big church in the background or something. That's a good selfie. Selfies are fun.
Yeah, selfies in Europe are a little more entertaining than the ones in America and Canada.
I don't know. I've been having a great time. I'm taking lots of selfies. Where was that?
The architecture's a bit better over here. I'll say that.
I understand. Where was that? What church?
It's in Castle in Budapest, I think.
So did you see I just had Vex on, Jeff Lavecchio, my former Bronco?
Yeah, I saw you guys, all your old teammates there, yeah.
Yeah, and he was the one that started the original Twix throwing, eh? Small world.
Yeah. You guys bring that up or no?
I did, of course I did. Yeah. Very proud of my shed guys earning their chocolate around the world.
Yeah, he was a great teammate.
He does your workouts, Mac?
Yeah, he still does my workouts. Doesn't charge me enough, so I got to figure out a way to like get him a gift card for he bought a new truck, so I wanted to get him like a detailed gift card.
Well, he trains a lot of folks. Like he doing the online stuff. Like he's an animal
well for himself. Yeah. Found like an unbelievable wife there too. She's into the same thing, so it's kind of cool to watch him on social media at least. But
yeah, he's making his impact, you could say.
Yeah. No, he's a super passionate guy.
So, Howie, looking back at Mac's career as a dad, anything you would have changed?
Fire my agent sooner.
What's that?
Fire my agent a bit sooner.
No. You look back at things and I'm happy he's happy playing hockey. That's the main thing, right? And hey, could have some paychecks been bigger, had different scenarios, different teams, whatever. I mean, kind of cool to be drafted with the Blackhawks, but when they win 3 cups in that span where he was
in the system,
prospect,
yeah,
it's tough, and had he been, I'm not being negative towards these franchises, but if he had been drafted by Phoenix or Arizona, whatever, you never know.
True.
I mean, it is what it is, and I love the fact that he loves the game and he's got a great wife and great support system throughout the game, and I mean, that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, no, I hear you, and it is interesting. The only thing
you
watching
want,
it unfold.
It's a cliche type thing. If your kids are happy, you're pretty happy. I mean, it sounds like I'm not living my life through my kids, but when Mac wins a hockey game, I'm just a little bit lighter in my step that day. Just a little bit, not a ton, but just a little bit.
Yeah, no, I
totally you can say what you want about it, but it's true. And same thing when my daughter, who was a hell of an athlete as well, when she'd have a great race, it was like, wow, this is cool. She's a track athlete, and you feel just a little bit better. You just do.
No, it's true though. And then it's like the watching the kids do it when they're on successful teams. Like it does take everyone to win. And like you can get on teams where they're not a good team and it's not fun. And then you watch and it's just like, geez, this is like who's having fun out here? You know?
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah. But if everyone's pulling the rope the right direction, as we say here, better things, things will happen.
Well, and the part about being in a system with all the goalies and the Blackhawks, it's like when I left college and I'm on the one-way AHL deal, and then it didn't really work out for me. I'm in the coast pretty well the whole year. And then you see teammates or other guys from university that also are on the same contract as you going through the same thing, but then their NHL team's not making the playoffs. So they bring up all these AHL guys, and then all of a sudden the guy gets actual power play time and actual ice time to show what he can do. And then the next thing you know, like you see buddies and teammates that are playing in the NHL a year or two later, and it's because they got a chance to show what they can do. And if you get stuck, it's like if you're a top 6 forward and you're in the Leafs organization, where do you think you're going? You're not playing for the Leafs.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, like one of my kids I coached, I was a goalie coach again at Minnetonka, Justin Hall, for example,
and he got his chance, right? Like
he got his chance, and now he's just signed he got paid. Playing for the Detroit Red Wings, and he played, I'm sure he gets lambasted up in like all non-Canadians get lambasted up in your neck of the woods when they play for Toronto, but he's a great teammate and a great kid, and I'm happy for him. But I mean, he in Chicago, he wasn't going to get a chance,
Right, and it took like that coach in Toronto, Kiefer's brother is how I always think of Adam Keefe, but that he coached him in the AHL. They win a championship, and he brings them to the NHL with him.
No, that's what it takes sometimes. But again, looking back on what Mac has accomplished, I couldn't be prouder. And I'm just happy that he's still, he's going to play the hockey for a long time if his body holds up. I mean, because he loves it.
Right. And you should, because you can do other stuff after hockey all day long. You may as well play while you can, because once you can't, you can't.
Not that it's not work, but as I say, any fool can work, right? Like, and if you can continue doing something you love, he's got every opportunity to do so.
Well, it seems like he's found a home. Can he hear us? Seems like he's found a home in Herning because they seem to really have taken a shine to him. I saw one time he was topless jumping into the glass, and there was a fan trying to lick his navel.
When you got body hair like me, it doesn't matter if you have a shirt on or not.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I see pictures like that, I can tell how much fun you're having playing hockey. And you know what? It makes me happier too. And I'm not even his dad. I'm just the guy that chats with him in the shed once a month.
When that happened, I was kind of, I know it was a release for him and whatnot, but as a traditional hockey guy, you kind of go, his first thought was, oh man, it's it's just a whatever. Would you win the series? I can't remember. But anyway, it wasn't like the championship.
Right.
But
no.
You know what though?
I think it was a regular season game.
Yeah. But have fun with it. I mean, that's just it, right? I mean, if you're not having fun doing it, it can be.
Well, and I found looking back on my career, it was the best I ever played was when I was acting like myself and I was having fun and I was being Wally, I guess, right? Not Brent. That guy's a loser. But like, when I was in Bietigheim, the best year I ever had, like, gosh, I sang karaoke in front of a whole town at the parade. And I was just having fun and having a laugh. And then when you start taking it too seriously and you're not having as much fun and, you get stressed out, it's just not as much fun and you don't play as good.
Yeah, no. And you know what? You gotta have a release. And if it's celebrating after a win as your release, how great is that?
I was really good at celebrating after wins. Bad track record, actually. Good thing social media wasn't around when I was in Germany because I was embarrassing.
Whatever it takes.
So Mac, I have you on all the time. I don't know if I've ever asked you what are your aspirations now when you are now over 30? What else do you want to accomplish? I guess you need to get a gold helmet, don't you?
Yeah, that was my answer for sure. I don't know. Obviously, some things are changing now with the kid on the way as far as goals and outside of hockey. But it'd be nice to have a little girl in the cup at the end of the year. That'd be pretty cool.
Yes.
That's kind of my thoughts.
I would love to see that photo.
Yeah, it's kind of my thoughts right now. Obviously, it's a long road to get there. A lot lot of games to be played and things to happen. But that's kind of a short term goal right now.
When you go to Europe, it's always nice to be on a team that is a contender, because in like
Yeah.
when you went to that team in Hungary, that team ain't ever gonna win. Like they're not.
No, they have a good spot now. Like Hungary, I think I don't want to overquote it, but I think they just built a $20 million stadium
Really?
in Fairbar. I mean, I love the stadium that we played in. Like for my parents coming in, it wasn't the greatest. They were not happy with the shed I was playing out of, but I loved it. The atmosphere was crazy, but yeah, they just dumped a bunch of money into that team. Someone did.
Well, that's good. Those teams in Europe, if you get a new sponsor, it can change everything, and then all of
Crazy
a
how it
sudden you can
turns
be good.
around. Yeah,
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 apparently it does take money to win at hockey.
yeah. It's funny. Everyone complains like, "Oh, our team's not very good. We're never any good." Well, probably don't have very many sponsors. Would be my guess.
Wow, it's like when I was in Bietigheim. It's brought this up so many times. We go there with the biggest budget in the league. We're like the New York Yankees, the second league, and we smashed everyone. Won the championship. They loved me. They'd call me Mr. Brent Wilt when I'd come out. I was life size on the side of the arena, dressed like a knight or whatever with a sword. And then Porsche lost all their money in that crisis in 2008-9. And then we didn't have money to be good. I think I still played hockey the exact same way. But my teammates were not as good and we didn't win. And then I was asked to kindly leave, you know?
Yeah,
And losing sucks. It changes your whole day, the way you walk
everyone
around
loves a
town.
winner.
Yeah. The lunch on the Foosganger zone, right?
Even
Yeah.
even the mini games in practice. If I lose those, it takes a while to get over it before I get
Well, and when the
home.
team's been losing and then you start playing those games, that's when things can get heated and then there's fights and
That's when things turn quickly. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, when I'll ask, I'll call Mac up once a week, whatever. And I'll say how practice go. I didn't play well. I know for a fact he probably did. He just lost the last game of 3-on-3. That's all. For a
Yeah.
fact, right?
100%.
Yeah, you
Probably
probably
like
played great
one
all
nothing.
practice, and you just happened to lose 3-2
Yeah.
in the final 3-on-3 game. I know for a fact that's your deal.
And those are the best parts of practice, and guys start mucking
Yeah.
it up.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you go for lunch after, and then you get over it, right?
Exactly.
Okay, what's the best restaurant in Jackson Hole?
Still West, in my opinion.
We have a kind of foodie town, quite honestly, and
This
I
place
like
sounds right up my alley.
what's that?
This place sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, we've got great steakhouses, obviously, being in Wyoming, but my favorite place right now is Still West, which ironically is right across the street from the ice rink, and they do a great job. They're a big sponsor of ours. So one of the other things we do for our players is 7 days a week they get a free lunch somewhere in town.
Really?
And so yeah, yep. So when the season starts, they'll go to Sweet Cheap Meats. They'll go to all these other places and get a free meal. I say minimum tip is $10. So it's not free, but it's minimum's $10. So we help them out in that regard, and we leave a little money on the table.
Are these all sponsors or?
Yeah, well, yeah, yep. And so all these people give a little bit of cash to us, and then the rest comes in a trade through food. For example, I just signed up the Jacksonville Moose. We do a Sunday Teton Adaptive Sports sled hockey that we kind of put on. So all our players are required to help out with that community. And my wife and I, early on, to not convince, but to get guys there, we put out a spread in the locker room, taco bar, whatever the case may be. As we got older, we kind of just said, screw it. We'll just go get barbecue and then we'll do it that way. So anyway, I just picked up Blue Collar Restaurant Group came on board. So they're going to donate all that food every Sunday. We have sled hockey. So it's just helpful.
Jeepers.
So
you should find some sponsors for me. You sound like you're good at it.
Yeah, well, we are pretty good. And when you get 1,200 people in that rink that seats 450, it's an atmosphere, man. I mean,
Oh yeah.
But
well, what I like about your barn though, because when I go watch the kids when I'm not coaching, when I go watch any hockey, if I can stand right at the glass, it's a whole different atmosphere than sitting up in the crowd. And it looks like a lot of people at your arena are right at the glass, like watching the action as close
I
as you
couldn't
can.
figure out like obviously I'm a rink guy too, so I looked at the glass uh, around the rink, around where all the fans sit, and there's these little chips in the glass, right? We have real glass. We don't have plexi. We have this glass. And I was like, what is going on? So I call up the manufacturer. I call up Becker Arena. I go, what is going on? We have these little chips everywhere. Well, it's those. It's the guys' rings when they're pounding the glass after
Right.
a goal, and they're just putting these
Right. Or
little
say there's a
darts.
goalie fight, or that AJ Sanders is mucking it up, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I understand. I could get a little fired up too when I'm watching and something happens and all of a sudden you can whack it.
Right.
It's
Well, you
true
can
though.
only
Like
do it
when we'd
in
score
hand
a big
because
goal and I'm just a dad watching, we score a big goal, I'd get fired up and hit the glass.
that's great. No, yeah, because they have a beer in one hand. They got exactly. They're left. Yeah,
Well, it seems like a fun atmosphere.
sure is.
You're gonna have to win it this year, eh? So winning's fun.
Well, our first games this year against we've never had games this early. We're playing the fire department of New York. And I
Oh,
don't know if you saw those
I bet
viral.
I bet you that's gonna get heated.
Oh yeah. These guys, I guess, according to the people who played them before, not the most skilled, but they're in great shape, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And they're firefighters, and
Firefighters
it
get paid
takes
to work out and sleep. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. That's going to be a big fundraiser for our volunteer fire department here. So it's going to be quite the game.
I could just picture it. I remember when I was in the UK before we're playing the Glasgow Clan or Braehead, they're called then. There were two fire departments, or the firemen were playing the cops, and man, those guys were into it.
It's going to be. I tell, and the problem is we only have like 3 days of practice before that game. So I'm telling my guys, get in shape now because it's going to be a battle. So it's going to be quite interesting.
So it's got to be a bit difficult to keep a team together because guys probably age out and have kids and just don't want to do it as much, eh?
Yeah, we get lucky though. I mean, it's not like I'm pounding the phones, whatever, trying to find players, but we just get lucky. Like we had this new kid who played over in a low level German league last year. He's coming out. People want to be in Jackson Hole.
Right.
The thing is, can they afford it? That's the tough thing. I
Right.
mean, when you're talking a 1,200 square foot, very average home is going for about 2.5 million. It's a tough deal. Rents are very expensive. So
Right.
yeah, in fact, where Mac lives in the off season, we put up one of my star players, Drew Akins. He comes in and he rents from us very, very inexpensively, but he helps me make money.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
So
So
Mac,
anyway,
do you think we're ever going to see you play for the Moose?
I thought so a while back, but I don't
Imagine
know.
how big of a fan I'd be if you and Mosey were on the Moose.
I think that was our plan a while back when we were first like in Rockford together. It's like, yeah, like maybe like 2030 we'll play for a year for the Moose and it'll be great.
Oh.
And like I used to be like, I'll play rec league forever. I think I might need a couple years to decompress, but
That
yeah, we'll
when
see.
I
We'll see
came
with
back,
Mosey's.
yeah. When I
I
came
think
back, I
Mosey
went a
Mosey
year.
needs Mosey's taken enough free crap from the Moose, so I think he needs at least a year.
Well, when I
he would
came back, I didn't play for a year because obviously I wasn't supposed to. But then like I missed being on a team. I missed being around the guys. And like my kids
Yeah.
weren't on teams yet. And I did really enjoy it when I ended up doing it voluntarily, you know?
Yeah, I think my plan is to get into coaching as soon as possible when I'm done, like kind of transition slowly into that, like not close to now, maybe when my kids turn in 4 or 5, maybe, but that's the plan right now. But so hopefully I'm still around a team for a bit, but we'll see.
Mhm.
Things can
Hey,
change.
Wally, did
Huh?
you ever think you were going to be like a pro coach, like coaching
No,
junior? No.
no. I realized where my contacts were in the hockey world when I first came back, and that was in Europe. Or I guess a little bit in NCAA, but not really because we weren't good. Um, I wanted to set up shop for my kids. I wanted to put down roots, and I blatantly meant to give up the game totally and move here and start the real world so my kids would have a home. And then coaching the kids has been life changing. I do have a passion for coaching. That first team of boys made me realize it. And then coaching the girls last season too. Who knows, right? Maybe the day the kids are out of the house, maybe I get to scratch my itch, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, priorities change when you have kids for sure, right? That's just
yeah. And I think I'm better at coaching than playing, and that's not me being unrealistic. I think I had a skill set of bringing people together and making people happy and feel like part of a team. And I think I have a talent for that. I just didn't really realize what I was doing all those years. But now that I'm coaching and I have more confidence in myself and what I'm doing, yeah, I really like it. And we're gonna kick the shit out of everybody.
love it. Love it. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I didn't think I was gonna love it like I did. Actually, when I first came back and I had been spray painting myself naked and doing pregame speeches, I thought, geez, I'm a real idiot. Maybe I'm not the right person to be leading these kids and being a coach of a minor hockey team because I'm such a donkey. And then I realized maybe being a donkey isn't a bad thing.
Right. No,
I'd rather be me, you know? Might as well be me.
Be a donkey responsibly is perfect.
Right. Make it fun. Hockey's supposed to be fun, right?
Yeah.
You can be a serious donkey.
Sure can.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm not sure what else I got. You guys got any questions for me? How was your first trip to the shed? Comfortable? Did I make it okay?
I love it. Yeah, it's awesome. The sheds, it's I think you do a great job, like you said, bringing people together. I get to see my son that, which I normally don't get to see on a Monday afternoon, evening for him.
And get to talk for this long, right? Usually it's
right.
How was your practice?
Yeah.
That type of deal.
But we know how his practice was based on he probably won the last game.
Whether or not he's smiling or not.
Right. No, that's just it. No, and no, it's great. So today, I think my wife and I Jean are gonna take off on a little road trip through Idaho and through Montana. We're gonna go into Idaho, Sun Valley, go up the Bitterroot Range, and then we're gonna end up back in Idaho at Sandpoint, Idaho. So we're kind of doing a little tour.
That sounds fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you speak of the bringing people together in the shed, I always like cooking and making meals that, like, when people came over, I could tell they were happy and they were like, wow, I can't believe you made this. And now with this, it's kind of like doing the same thing. It's like, I like seeing people happy. I like seeing people do well. And right. Then when you get to know dickheads like him, and then you see them doing well and running a muck, and it makes me happy seeing other people run mucks,
Yeah. Winning's fun.
Winning is fun. It's like coaching those kids, right? It's like I still go watch the kids play even when I'm not their coach anymore, because you end up caring about them and you want to see them do well. And like, I'll be going to watch the gals play this year, and I bet you they're going to dominate people,
Great. No, ironically, we were, Gina and myself, my wife, were in Minnesota for a wedding this past weekend. And we found out that there's a little all-star team from Wyoming, and a bunch of our kids were on that. And I picked up Drew Akins, my stud, and because he lives in Minnesota in the off season, and we went and watched hockey for 2 hours. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, just the middle of between the wedding and whatnot, it was just great. And I think the parents appreciate. We didn't do it for any other reason. We want to see how these kids do, and it was great.
Well, it was like my son was playing baseball in Hanover, and I found out that there's a squad with like 6 of my gals all in one baseball team, and they're having their year-end tournament in Chepstow, which was like 30 minutes away. And I told my wife, I'm like, I'm going to watch them play between games. Like, I'm going to watch the gals. And then I show up there, and you can see the parents like look at me like, You're crazy. What are you doing here?
Yeah, we got the same looks, and but it was,
But
and
you
then
see the smile on the girl's face and they come running up to you going,
yeah.
Coach Brent. And I'm like, yeah, it was worth the 20-minute drive.
Well, they didn't come up to me because I'm the old cranky rink manager, right? But they came up to my stud player Drew. They were so happy to see him; it was unreal. And then we went out on the lake, Mac. We went out to Maynard's and took him out to lunch, and it was fantastic. What a great day,
How was Maynard's still saying?
Good, yeah, it was great. It was packed. We got there just in time, but it's a little spot on the Lake Minnetonka, and it did not disappoint me. It was great day.
So, Mac, here's my last question. What are you doing for fun in Denmark when you're not at practice? Voyance Denmark was very boring. I'm not trying to be mean. There wasn't anything to
Saunders,
do.
the town. Like I don't think you guys play in Saunders, but like where the rink is a tough.
That's where I live. Voyance. That's where Sooners is in Voyance, and there's nothing to do. You can make day trips, lots of places an hour away, but there wasn't much cooking. That's actually when I got into cooking, was because I was that bored.
Yeah, maybe my wife would like it if I got into cooking, but
you
I
probably
think it's
hit the
nice when
sticks
you
with
come
Mosey.
back. Yeah, when you come back for your second year somewhere, like instead of just going one and done places like most guys do, like you kind of get the vibes of the city down, so like
what you
what's
want to
good
do.
and
Yeah.
where to go and things like that. I've been playing some golf with the fellas this year. There's like a Herning golf course. It's not a bad little setup. We just play 9, like an hour and a half, and just go dick around for a bit and
Golf's fun.
try
Get
not try not to
outdoors.
lose try not to lose 9 balls in 9 holes and go from there. But doing a lot of paddle tennis. And then the wife and I like to take the dog for like walks on the beach. There's like a lake and stuff here.
Sounds like
Um,
you're into the same things as me.
yeah, yeah. Tough with her right now. It just kind of depends on how she's feeling. With the baby getting bigger
Well,
and bigger and bigger.
it's nearly go time, eh?
Um, yeah, I'm sure she's excited to have that over with. I'm sure, but yeah, kind of day trips. Our house is like a good spot. They have like a cool like street food.
I've been there.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Aarhus.
it's
Yeah,
like
I
in
can't
like an
believe they don't
old.
have a team. It's a cool city.
They should have a
Yeah,
team. That is a cool city.
it's
You're
weird
right.
that they don't. But I guess like Copenhagen has 3 teams, but I don't think they have a rink in our house. I have no idea. But
I think there is a rink. I think I saw it walking through. But anywho,
okay,
not that it matters. Somebody should start a
yeah,
team there, right?
yeah, their street food thing's kind of cool. And I think they do it in a couple places in Denmark. They do like old bus stops or old like old train stations. They'll like gut them out and just put like a street food festival, but all year round. They'll have
Right.
that in there, which is unreal. You get like a couple like Mexican joints and pasta and
Oh yeah.
whatever pinatas, whatever they're called. Um, just kind of that type of normal European stuff.
I love that stuff when you're in Europe and there's like food trucks all
Yeah,
set up. Cardiff had a couple of those
yeah,
places.
the lifestyle out here is just relaxed and obviously lucky. Like I only go to work for it's been like normal 9 to 5 during training camp here, but during the season you're only at work for 4 hours maximum, right? So
Yeah, oh
pretty
yeah.
lucky as far as that goes, and
Herning
looking
always seemed
forward to
like a
having the
nice
kid.
little town when I went there to play. It seems like a nice town with good
Yeah, it's
people
perfect
that work
size.
hard.
Like if you want to go get in trouble and find a few too many pints and whatever, that then you can do that. If you want to go to a patio and just kind of hang out, you can do that, and or you can just like we have a huge backyard for our dog now, and we just got a bunch of patio furniture, so I never have to leave the house if I don't want to either. So it's been really good here.
Well, go Blue Foxes, right?
Go Blue Fox.
Go Blue Fox.
And go Moose, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got a
they
lot of
sure.
teams to cheer for this season, man. It's going to be a busy winter.
Yeah.
Update that internet. Get it fast feeds going there, watching everybody.
Yeah. Well, nice.
Hey, Wally,
Yeah,
if you need me to send up any care packages, if you got a special banquet or something like that, and you want to auction off some moose gitch, I'll hook you up for sure.
Well, you know what? I should definitely
It's
do
just
a
spreading
golf
the love
tournament
and
again.
spreading the brand, right? That's what it
Yeah,
is.
wave the flag, right?
Yep.
Yeah, no, I should definitely set up a golf tournament again because I had a great time last time.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Oh, oh, it was fun. Yeah. Like you start talking in your shed and you've been out of the game, and the reason you do it is because you miss your friends and you miss your hockey family and you live in the middle of nowhere. And then to think of the idea that you could host a golf tournament in the middle of nowhere and have over 70 folks show up that are your hockey family. The parents I coached, their kids were there. Guys I won junior B with were there. Guys from college were there. It was pretty neat. You know?
It's not a bad little spot you live in though, there that area, right?
Oh,
It's
it's
super
up.
nice in the summer,
What's
isn't it?
what's the nearest big town, Wally?
Toronto's 2.5 hours away.
Oh,
Um, Kitchener's an hour, or oh yeah, Owen Sound's an hour away.
okay. Well, all right.
And there's not
Yeah.
much around here, man.
Yeah.
That's
Dixie used to
when my
Mac.
son
Dixie
gets
used to
going
coach
here,
them.
there's going to be some driving.
Yeah.
Oh
Right.
dear. Yeah.
Well, rural America or rural Canada is not bad. I like it.
I like living in a town where I don't you live in small towns, people are held accountable. People know who you are and what you're about. When you go to big cities, people can kind of behave and act the way they want and nobody's held accountable. I like living in a small town where people know what I'm about and who I am, and I know who's on my team, you know?
That's great. No, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm very thankful we moved here. It just kind of happened. You know, we were like free agents at the end of our hockey career, and I made the plan of doing the MBA and buying this house, and we were all in. And the way it's all worked out, the job I have, the people, the guys I work for, I'm very lucky. You know,
Yeah. You make your own luck.
well, you just got to give her, right?
Yep. That's right.
Yes.
I better get back to giving her. And this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Mac, Howie, and Wally.